Don't morph into a crypto pig and end up getting slaughtered for thousands to millions of dollars, which is happening to people in the crypto space at an alarming rate. I'm Kirk David Phillips. Welcome to the Crypto Bullseye Show, where I make common sense of the crypto space. So this pig butchering is one of the topics that I'm very passionate about. As a certified fraud examiner, I've been studying frauds for over 12 years now, and I'm extremely fascinated by the psychology of the victim in all scams, but especially in crypto scams and also with pig butchering, as I'll get into in a little bit. So what is pig butchering? Well, first of all, it's the translation of an Asian scam shop, and the rough translation of the word in English is pig butchering. So that's what we have. So basically this is known in two types of scams, which is both a romance scam and a misdial phone or text message scam. So in the romance scam, which is the more obvious one, how someone may fall victim, they go on to dating sites like Tinder and so on and end up creating a profile. The thing is, in that environment, a relationship is expected to develop in some way. So it's actually a really devious ruse because that person is being taken advantage of. The other type of scam is the misdialed scam. And this is the one that actually fascinates me much, much more than the romance scam, which is because basically somebody will send a misdialed text message, which is basically where somebody just sends a fake message to their friend John saying, "Hey John, sorry I couldn't make the gym today." And of course it's all made up. So you receive a text message and you say, "Oh, hey," maybe you respond. Most people actually don't respond, but the people who do respond say, "Hey, I think you've got the wrong person here." And then that's where the dialogue starts. So that's the thing that fascinates me more, is how can someone get duped for thousands to millions of dollars from just a few words from a misdialed text message? And so I'm forever fascinated by exploring the psychology of the victim in this case. So let's look at the 4 stages of a crypto scam. Stage 1 is grooming. And this is, again, where if somebody is on a dating site, the grooming starts in the process that you would normally take place while engaging in, a romantic conversation and things like that. So that's grooming that will take place in that sense. The grooming starts in the misdialed text message version when the text messages go back and forth. And of course, the scam artist is going to go through every attempt that they can to make sure that the text dialogue continues. They're going to come up with every possible reason to keep the text thread going. That's how the grooming starts, and then the grooming continues through the entire process. Now, stage 2 is the metamorphosis, going from human to fat pig. And pork bellies are a tradable commodity, so the farmer actually fattens up the pig to make sure that they get the best market price possible. So a fat pig equals a happy farmer, all right? So basically what the scammer is going to do is they're going to make sure to fatten up the person with as much trust as possible. So whereas the pig gets fattened up with food scraps, the human gets fattened up with trust, and the more trust it builds, the fatter the human gets, metaphorically. So now the human has consumed so much trust that they're now weighing in at 400 pounds on a metaphorical path to becoming a 700-pound pig and fully marketable. What I say here is, only a really good friend would offer 150% monthly returns. And of course, I'm being sarcastic there. So stage 3, the fattening, which is a relentless attack. So the scam is just getting started after the first investment contribution. So once the grooming has gotten to a certain point, that's when the scam artist feels comfortable enough to introduce said 150% monthly or whatever the ridiculous returns are. So they'll direct their victim to a investment scam site that shows these astronomical returns, and that's when people's eyes start to water and so on and so forth. So the first investment round is made, then after that, the victim can actually withdraw the funds. So once they've done that, that kind of locks in and solidifies the trust, because then the person says, well, if I can withdraw the funds, this has to be real. Now this is probably happening more on a subconscious level, but nonetheless. Then the scam artist will continue to coax the victim into making more frequent and higher investment amounts. So round 2, round 3, round 4. Every time the victim makes another investment, it's usually a higher and higher amount. The human pig is now fattened up to 700 pounds and is ready to go to market, metaphorically. Now, the big fat piggy finally gets a whiff of the scam when they can't withdraw their funds. And then the scam artist will actually continue the scam, because they will say that, well, we can't release any of the funds until you make additional contributions for taxes or some other crazy reasons like that. So the scam artists will actually not stop. Once they dig in, they will not stop until they can extract all the funds from the victim. So that's why it's a brutal, brutal attack. And that's what leads to stage 4, which is the axe, slaughter, and disappear. So why feed a pig any further when they're at maximum market price, right? So the farmer's going to send the pig to market at that point. So the scam artist farmer goes in for the slaughter and then disappears. Once the scam artist thinks that they've gotten all funds possible out of the victim, that's when they'll simply disappear. Then the victim has been psychologically slaughtered when the communication stops. So this is really a double whammy because it's like an insult to injury. And the double whammy is that you have the loss of assets, which is the obvious piece, but then you have the loss of trust, the psychological damage. The psychological damage could in effect actually be more expensive than the loss of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, because to get that back could be that could take decades. You could potentially even make the money back faster than you can rebuild the trust after being violated in a pig butchering scam. That's why I say you cannot put a price on trust. Trust is part of the social contract from which we all operate. The wound from pig butchering may never heal, which handicaps the victim from starting over from decades of saving and investing. This is really a sad situation. So a few pig butchering examples here, and my favorite pig butchering example, and I'm saying favored in the fact that it's so egregious, it's actually disgusting, but Jan Yan lost $1.6 million to a misdialed text message scam. So the worst part about this scam is that not only was it a text message scam, but the fact that she got the absolute triple or quadruple whammy where she invested all of her retirement funds, and then she invested all of her kids' college funds, and then she went and borrowed money from friends and family and lost all that money. And she also probably lost additional money from her own personal checking accounts or other personal non-retirement funds and stuff like that. So this is the worst pig butchering example I have ever seen. This is just insane. And so now you've lost the trust not only with people in general, but now you've disenfranchised your friends and family that you borrowed the money from, probably telling them that, hey, I got this super great deal with these super fantastic returns, and now you got to go back to them and tell them you got scammed. I also have another example in here of someone that got pig butchered, and it was great that they actually came forward and was able to reveal and tell the anatomy of their scam, and that was a romance scam. See, many people are so hurt from these type of scams that they won't even share the details. So it's fortunate that we have the people who are sharing their stories. So anyway, finally, what is the big takeaway here? Don't turn into a pig. Don't get fattened up. Don't get crypto butchered. There's many things here, but we're just going to cover a few, which is to read every article that you see about pig butchering and crypto scams. The more you read, the more awareness you have. You have to continue to have awareness, which is in this video, and then talk about this with your friends. Every time you read an article, talk about that with your friends, even non-crypto friends and family. Okay, so just people who are, in general, it's good to share these things because it happens in the non-crypto sphere as well. That when someone falls victim, they're actually isolated and they're in their own investment head making these decisions. So it's just a victim and it's scam artists, and the victim is not collaborating much with other people in the scam, because if they were, someone will probably call it out and say, hey, this doesn't sound right. Also, when you get a text message scam, the chances of having a lifelong friendship from a misdial, the probability of that essentially approaches zero. Usually investor is the one seeking the investment. There's a lot more to consider on this, but those are some of the key takeaways to consider. Let's keep the dialogue going here. Let me know what you think about pig butchering, and if you know of anyone who has fallen victim to this, please share your stories, and please like and subscribe this channel. We want to keep bringing you great content.